For the last few years, the NBA All-Star Game had become the easiest thing in basketball to criticize. No defense, no urgency, just a glorified layup line with elite athletes jogging through possessions. Every February we'd have the same conversation. Nobody cares. And honestly, it started to feel true. But in 2026, something changed. This didn't feel like an exhibition, it felt like an event. There was pride, there was tension, there was effort, and for the first time in a long time, it felt like the All-Star Game actually mattered. And the biggest reason it worked starts with something simple: urgency. Instead of one long 48-minute marathon where stars inevitably start pacing themselves midway through the second quarter, the NBA gave us 12-minute games. That one adjustment changed everything. When you only have one quarter to make your mark, there's no coasting. There's no "I'll turn it on later." Every possession is amplified, mistakes actually matter, momentum swings feel real, and it felt more like tournament basketball than exhibition basketball, and that alone raised the competitive level. But the format tweak wasn't the only genius move. The three-team structure was brilliant. In the traditional two-team setup, only 3 or 4 players on each side really get highlighted. There are just too many stars and not enough oxygen. But with 3 8-man teams, the spotlight felt more balanced. Rotations were cleaner, more players actually got meaningful touches instead of standing in the corner watching someone else cook. And beyond the logistics, the structure created built-in narrative tension. You had the old guard versus the young stars, veterans trying to remind everyone we're still here, younger players trying to prove we're up next. You also had the USA versus world dynamic baked into the competition, which matters in today's NBA. With international players dominating MVP races in recent years, there's pride attached to that conversation, and the league leaned into it. That fuels competition, that fuels engagement, and strategically, that fuels global growth. But another reason this All-Star Game felt elevated, and it might be underrated, was the broadcast. NBC and Peacock absolutely nailed the tone. The return of the NBA on NBC theme bridged generations instantly. Older fans felt nostalgia, younger fans experienced something iconic that still felt fresh. The energy matched the intensity on the floor, and the commentary brought urgency to the moment. Noah Eagle called it like it mattered. Reggie Miller and Jamal Crawford added real player-level insight and passion. It didn't feel like background noise. It felt aligned with the competition. Even beyond NBC and Peacock, the NBA on Amazon coverage this season has felt modern and hungry. Meanwhile, even with ESPN acquiring the legendary Inside the NBA crew, traditional coverage can sometimes feel more formulaic. The newer platforms feel forward-thinking, and that freshness carried into All-Star Weekend. And then there were the intermission segments. Instead of filler, we got storytelling. Victor Wembanyama wasn't just framed as an alien on the court, he was framed as an international icon. They spoke on his global reach and interviewed him about returning from the blood clot scare. That humanizes him. That builds connection. Jason Tatum was featured in a segment detailing his rehab from the devastating 2025 playoff injury. That kind of coverage builds empathy. It reminds fans that these aren't just highlights. They're people with adversity, recovery, and growth. That type of storytelling strengthens the emotional investment between players and fans, and that matters for the league long term. But none of this works if the players don't buy in. And this year, they did. You saw chase down blocks, passing lane denials, real fouls, defensive rotations, multiple stretches that felt like legitimate MVP level performances. The energy wasn't forced. It wasn't artificial. It was competitive. The older USA team put their experience on full display. They were tested by Team World's size and versatility, and by the younger USA squad's pace and athleticism. There were momentum swings, tight possessions, but they were unfazed. No panic, no rushed shots. Their execution was precise. They controlled tempo, they hunted mismatches, and most importantly, they knew how to feed the hot hand. Kawhi Leonard was cooking, and they let him cook. They didn't overcomplicate it. They didn't chase balance for the sake of balance. That's veteran awareness. That's championship level poise. But in the final, the story shifted. The younger USA stars ran away with it. And why? Speed, hunger, relentless pace. They turned defense into offense. They pushed tempo. They refused to let the game slow down. Earlier in the night, the old guard played smarter. In the final, the young stars played faster and hungrier. And at the center of it all, was Anthony Edwards. He didn't just have a good game, he was the All-Star Game MVP. Lethal from three, explosive off the dribble, confident in tight moments, charismatic on the stage. When momentum shifted, he was the one fueling it. When the moment got big, he didn't shrink, he imposed himself. That's symbolic. The league's showcase event, the biggest stage, and the young star walks away with the MVP trophy. Alongside him, Wemby looked every bit like the future, alien-like, competitive, emotionally invested. The effort was real, the desire to win was real. The old guard reminded us who they are. The international presence flexed its strength, and the next wave took the final step and claimed the spotlight. That's why this All-Star game worked. The format created urgency, the structure created narrative tension, the broadcast elevated the storytelling, and the players brought the pride. In a league environment often dominated by negativity and debates, sometimes you just celebrate when things are done right. In 2026, the NBA didn't just fix the All-Star game, it evolved it. If you enjoyed this breakdown and you like this kind of NBA deep dive content, make sure to leave a like and subscribe. On the screen right now is my most recent deep dive, so go check that one out next. I've also got team rebuilds dropping every week and the Nets franchise series still rolling. Other than that, I appreciate y'all for watching, and I'll catch y'all in the next one.